Drake got a hooks for him. Like, yo, Jay, of course he's going to have a hook written for him here and there. He's a rapper. We know him for his bars, not his hooks. That would be the second defense that they would hop to. And then they would figure out something for the third. They would just deflect. But they would never say, like, damn, Jay, I'm heartbroken by that.
Damn, am I in that category? I don't think I'm like a huge Jay-Z fan like that. A whole reference verse from Jay-Z, yeah. It's no way around that shit, bro. I'm not defending that. I can't defend that. Like, this Jay-Z is what you're known for. All right, so we got academics accuses rap legends of cheating. What is this, man? Video by Hello Yasin Extras. Let's get into this, bro. As you can see, man, I got the pink light in the back. You know, I normally switch it up, but I think I'm going to rock out with the pink light for the rest of the month for, you know, breast cancer awareness month. You know what I mean? Lost my mom at 33. She passed away to breast cancer. Feel it's only right. We're going to keep that up. You know what I'm saying? I ended up liking the light back there. Love you, mama. Let's get into this video, man.
What's poppin', y'all? One of my favorite topics that I've softened up on over the past couple of years. Psych, no, I haven't softened up on it at all. And that is the idea of ghostwriters. And everything got cracked open thanks to Meek Mill in 2015 when we found out that Drake had ghostwriters. And he exposed, and this is non-consensual, by the way, by Meek Mill, non-consensual exposal of Quentin Miller for writing a lot, and laying down a lot of reference tracks for, would I say that's my favorite Drake album? I would say the album that got me to love Drake. If you're reading this, it's too late. I think it was partially because, like, the point in time of life where I was at. And yeah, before that, I really wasn't into Drake like that, to be honest. In 2013, if you told me, yo, what?
You know, a lot of people say that, man. A lot of people say Take Care, and they love, if you're reading this, it's too late. Sonically, bro, cohesively from start to finish, I would have to say my favorite is probably Nothing Was the Same. A lot of people hate on Views. I like Views too. Speaking of point in time, Views, like when it dropped, everything was just kind of lit. At that time in life, it was just like a little more on the carefree side. I don't know, but if you're reading this, it's not too late. I was not the biggest fan of that. I ain't gonna lie.
Turning on Meek Mill or Drake, I'm like, get that Drake the hell up off of here. We're listening to Meek. That's what I was on. Now, post 2015, I'm like, turn that Meek Mill off, unless it's championships. Actually, or Meek over Drake. And then it turned into Drake over Meek. I'm not telling people to turn. I love Meek Mill's music. Even still, just Meek Mill's Twitter presence. You know, I had to. Well, I didn't block him. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie. But I do try to limit my diet and intake of Meek Mill's Twitter presence. But after that, a lot of reference tracks started getting leaked. A lot of people started getting exposed, etc. Still no reference tracks by J. Cole for J. Cole, by the way. Which I don't even know why I threw that out there. Like, J. Cole is not even top 10 rappers for me when it comes to who I listen to the most. But academics.
Okay. Now I have to disagree with that there. No, I mean, everybody can listen to what they want to say. But what do you say about reference track about J. Cole? Hold on a second.
There are still no reference tracks by J. Cole for J. Cole, by the way. An intake of Meek Mill's Twitter presence. But after that, a lot of reference tracks started getting leaked. A lot of people started getting exposed, etc. Still no reference tracks by J. Cole for J. Cole, by the way, which I don't even know why I threw that out there. Like, J. Cole is not even top 10 rappers for me when it comes to who I listen to the most. But academics, who is Drake's biggest fan, says, y'all just realizing no artist done lasted 10 years plus writing every single chorus and verse. Whoop-de-doo. Fans gotta get realistic. Every artist who makes hits over 10 plus years have utilized some help at some point. Yes, that includes Kendrick Lamar, Future, and Drake. Get mad. Hold on. Let me catch my breath. I like how he added these names towards the end. Now, I will say, I don't think there are rappers that can stay at the top for 10 plus years without getting help. And let's just take a look at some examples, right? Like Kendrick Lamar, when would you guys say he got to the top? Because To Pimp a Butterfly, I would say that was when Kendrick Lamar really hit the peak. Like, he hit the mainstream with, well, actually, Section 80 was where it really got him on in the rap game. Yep. But he hit the mainstream with the thing with the van in front of it. Good Kid, Mad City. Yep. I would say he really, really hit it off with To Pimp a Butterfly. And then the peak is now, but the first peak was Humble, Damn, and that was in 2017 or so. 2016, 17. Right. So let's just say 2016. The hits, there were really no hits like that on To Pimp a Butterfly. All Right, you could say All Right, but All Right The way I look at All Right is kind of like a Goosebumps. Goosebumps is the highest certification by Travis Scott and for one of his songs, but Goosebumps was never a smash. Like, it didn't come out top 10. It didn't even chart top 10 until he got like this remix that happened later on. I do want to give the artist his credit. The guy that made that original remix, it was Hume, HVME. So credit to him. That helped it resurface. It was more of like an electronic type of was it electronic techno? I'm not too well versed in that. You guys know what I'm talking about though. So it was like a slow burn. That's what I look at All Right. But if we're talking hits, it's been around 10 years for Kendrick Lamar, and the difference with Kendrick Lamar is that he does not drop that frequently. So we're not expecting nor demanding a hit from Kendrick Lamar year over year. He took a 5-year break. So that's a difference right there. Travis Scott, we know he gets help. We already saw who wrote, like Wale wrote all of Apple Pie. Sci-Hi to Prince wrote the Sicko Mode verse for Travis Scott. Like, Travis Scott gets a lot of help, but we look at Travis Scott like a curator, like Ye. And Travis Scott needs to get more credit for curating some great music for a very long time. I think when somebody makes good music for so long, like Travis Scott.
Shit, I wonder what the compensation is on a record like Sicko Mode, bro, when you help to write for that shit. Holy. God damn, they better have compensated that man properly, man. Before and the freaking royalties forever, bro. Sicko Mode's gonna come on for a long time, bro, in like parties, clubs, especially on college events and activities and shit like that.
People just start to hate on them for no reason. They're like, yo, you've been too good for too long. We don't like you. And I'm like, yo, chill, man. Like, that's Travis. Like, you could say you don't like Travis for any behavior he's done, sure. But music, nah. So with Drake, Drake's been on top for 15 plus years. But people responded to this because keep in mind, we have 0 reference tracks of Kendrick Lamar. He says that includes Drake when we know Drake is the first one that got exposed.
Right.
And Future, I don't know. I haven't seen a reference track of Future. Future's written for other.
He just be lumping the people in with Drake, bro. Like, any chance that he can, he be trying to lump in people that are in his tier with him. Kendrick Lamar, Future. We all know Drake, but these two guys too. What about them? Yeah, Ack is he's funny for that.
Drake is the first one that got exposed. And Future, I don't know. I haven't seen a reference track of Future. Future's written for other people. He's given hits to other people. So has Drake. But the reason why it was such a big deal for Drake was because Drake was in this category of greatest rapper of all time. And with rapping comes writing. But someone replied with Jay-Z, a Jay-Z gif. And then Academics quote tweeted this and said, "Don't let me break y'all heart." Now, hold on. This, I'm not a big Jay-Z defender. And we got to keep in mind, there's some static between Academics and Jay-Z's company, Rock Nation. I don't think Academics has any issue with Hove, with Jigga, personally. But I cannot, if a Jay-Z reference track dropped, I would be in awe. It wouldn't harm me. Like, I wouldn't be heartbroken by it. If a Lil Wayne reference track dropped, I would be heartbroken. But they did say that Drake wrote.
I wouldn't say heartbroken. I would be highly disappointed because Jay-Z is just held in such a high regard in hip hop and just as an entrepreneur, and just his lyricism and the way that there's this whole mystique about him. You know, they say that he doesn't write his lyrics. So you just go on to compare him with like the Bigs and the Big L's of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like legends, you know what I mean? Even living legends, Nas and shit like that. And to find out all of that he gets help, I ain't gonna lie, help of any fucking format, it would kind of be a little disappointing for me. Now, if he gets full on ghostwriting, bro, I would be disappointed as fuck, bro. Come on, bro. Not Jay, man. Not Hov. I wouldn't even put Jay-Z in my top 5 of all time per se, but I didn't really grow up around that time, and I wasn't really deep in the streets with keys and shit like that. So maybe it just didn't resonate with me that much. But bro, you can always respect his rapping ability, like his fucking skill, bro. Like across the board, he's one of the, if not the best of all time. A lot of people do regard him as the best rapper of all time. You know what I'm saying? So that would be disappointing.
She Will, was it She Will or something for Wayne? I think that's more collaborative, because if Drake was on the track too, you know, that's how I cope with it. All right, like, you might listen, call me out on my cope if I am coping. I'm fine with that. Like, I don't mind being called out. They're like, yo, you're snoring.
But I thought that Lil Wayne got help with like songs like How to Love and shit like that. How to love. Ooh. That sounds like something that Drake could have fucking helped out or like wrote that shit, right? I thought I heard that before, but Weezy's also the GOAT too, but some of them songs, it sound like, that was out of his element.
Too much copium, you got to ease up off of it, you're about to OD. But like the reason why I believe Lil Wayne does not have any writers, does not have anybody writing for him, is because he's not able to keep up. Like, you can clearly listen to the Carter 6 and you're like, damn, this guy is stuck. And that's what keeps somebody from sustaining themselves for a longer time. Like when Academics talks about 10 years. And when people criticize Drake, they're like, yo, he's hopping on this trend and this trend and this trend. Well, when you don't hop on trends, you end up sounding like a Nicki Minaj or a Lil Wayne, and you're not able to capture the new audience. And you're just stuck.
What the hell, man? I mean, I feel like, didn't Nicki Minaj's last album do really well? Yeah. Look at this. As of late 2024, this is not in 2025, Nicki Minaj's most recent album, Pink Friday 2, it was dropped in 2003. Over 1 million album equivalent units, surpassed 2.6 million units globally. Certified plat. So this is going on to be triple platinum, it looks like. 228,000 first week. 92 with pure album sales. That, you know what I'm saying? That seems pretty organic right there. The album set a record for largest vinyl sales for female. You see what I'm saying? For a female rap album selling 25,000 vinyl copies in its first week. So, yeah, Nicki Minaj is definitely, whatever she's doing, that shit's still working.
And it sounds like you're stuck in the same time period, making the same style of music with the same flows. Now, a producer can help with this. A really good executive producer can help get you out of, and I think Lil Tecca is an example of, he's worked with good producers, good executive producers, and Tecca hasn't even been in the game for 10 years yet, but his music, like, it keeps developing. It's a different sound, but it's still the same identity, and it's progression. So I don't think he would get stuck. But also, we don't have the demand of Lil Tecca that he has to write every single song himself, right? Which there haven't been any reference tracks leaked of Tecca. But with Kendrick Lamar, how are we going to take away from, and how are we going to throw Kendrick Lamar and him having help, which, what does help really mean, when we've heard more Kendrick Lamar reference tracks for Baby Keem? So we've heard like 5 or 6 tracks of Baby Keem's that Kendrick Lamar gave. And we also got to keep in mind, first, he was saying like, no, people getting help with hooks. Dog, Drake has been given whole songs. And I remember how heartbroken Academics was when he found out that Jumbotron Poppin', which he loved as a song, was a Yachty song. Yachty just handed over the USB drive and said, go off, take that whole thing. And that's what Drake did. Drake just took the entire song. So how are we going to throw, there is no way you're going to tell me that Jay-Z has ever took an entire song from somebody and hopped on it. And also, Eminem is somebody that I would say he did 10 years plus at the top of the game. And Eminem, ain't no way he had writers. I don't even think he had help with hooks, because what a lot of people did at that time, a lot of the top rappers, like an Eminem, he would have a Skylar Grey doing the hook. So they would bring in, and this was more common in the 2000s. I think now it is for sure more common that artists are getting given a hook or taking a hook from a writer, versus back then they wouldn't take the hook. They would have, like, maybe they would take the hook, but they would have somebody else sing it, like a Skylar Grey for Eminem, or Lupe Fiasco. He had this woman that he worked with a lot that would do the singing hooks for him. I forgot her name. Jill Scott? I think it's Jill Scott. Did she work with him a lot? I know there was one of them, Nikki Jean. It was Nikki Jean. Jill Scott was on Food and Liquor, if I'm remembering correctly. Please do not let me not embarrass myself with my memory here. I'm not going to correct it, but I would be heartbroken. I think it's Nikki Jean, because Nikki Jean was on Drogas as well. Or Drogas Wave. She wasn't on Drill Music and Zion. I would really be embarrassing myself as a Lupe Fiasco supporter of many years. But they would get them to do the hook because it sounded better as well. However, once we started to see a lot more rappers do the hook, I think that's when things may have changed. Regardless, I think this is propaganda for Drake, because you're trying to loop everybody into it. And then somebody says, we don't care about getting help on hooks and bridges. When we start hearing reference tracks with rap verses, no. We care about that too. And then he says, y'all sound like how people sound with the snitching convo. Well, nobody got locked up. Stop it, bruh. You can't limit help to what you think you comfortable with. This is facts. And I completely agree.
I mean, in the defense of this Third Eye channel tweet, hooks and bridges aren't that bad, technically speaking, right? If you get the help with them, or if it's a reference. Ja Rule wouldn't have had such a thriving career back then if he didn't have all those singers on his hooks. Yeah, people like 50 Cent that used to help out with all the G Unit damn near they wouldn't even have like hit records like the way they did, you know. And I know it's just him singing on it, but it's not as bad as an entire rap verse. You hear a rap verse you liked for months or years, and then it comes to find out, you turn around and you hear a reference track with somebody else singing that same shit. So I feel like it would be way less, way more acceptable if it was a hook or a bridge. That's just my opinion.
If something comes out of Jay-Z, and even if it's a hook and he's rapping that thing, we got to take him out the conversation. That's just is what it is. Now, if we have 100% of people, because there are people, I don't believe Kendrick Lamar, I don't believe Eminem, Tyler the Creator, I'm not too sure about, Kid Cudi. Like these three artists, I know there's like different caliber and different types of artists that I'm putting together. But those three, I don't think they've ever had help with anything. And I think they take great pride in what they do, which there's no problem with people getting help. But we're not going to start talking about, oh, Jay-Z, like, nah, he got that hook. But, you know, we know he wrote all of his rap verses. No. Let's stop that, because that would not have been the same thing when Drake first got exposed for all of this. And this is why it's so good that we're in the era that we're in right now for artists like Jay-Z, because Jay-Z has the most grown stans ever. I would say Jay and Nicki. Jay for sure.
Yeah, but I feel like Drake, his hooks stand out a lot, bro. Like his hooks are a big reason of what drags you into his music. Drake's hooks are very prevalent on his songs, bro. Like, we don't really go to Jay-Z for his hooks, bro. Not even gonna lie. As I was thinking about that when he just said that, I'm trying to think like, yo, so you're telling me if we found out Jay-Z had help on this particular hook, we'd be mad. And the fact that one just didn't come to me like off the bat. A lot of his hooks aren't that memorable. You get me? Like Drake's hooks, we sing them shits, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Them shits, they be gone.
He's been in the game longer. Dog, there are people that are 45 plus, maybe even 50 plus, that'll die on a hill for Jay-Z. Like they will argue with you back and forth about Jay-Z. And I'll tell you exactly how it would happen. If a reference track leaked right now that somebody did for a Jay-Z song, number one, it's fake. This is an AI, as Future would say. They would talk about it being AI, which is the greatest blessing for any artist any rapper that came up in the 90s, 2000s, and hasn't had anything leak. If it leaks right now, oh, it's AI. Especially if your fans are strong, they will defend it and they'll say, nah, that's AI. If somehow it's able to be proved that it's not AI, they will go to the second cope, the Jay-Z fans. They'll be like, nah, man, that's just a hook. Like, yo, Drake got a hook for him. Like, yo, Jay, of course he's gonna have a hook written for him here and there. He's a rapper. We know him for his bars, not his hooks. That would be the second defense that they would hop to. And then they would figure out something for the third. They would just deflect. But they would never say like, damn, Jay, I'm heartbroken by that. Like with the Lil Wayne thing, if I find out, now Lil Wayne, I gave y'all my cope earlier on in this video.
Damn, am I in that category? I don't think I'm like a huge Jay-Z fan like that. I'm just kind of trying to be objective. When we're on this channel, we're always going to be objective and try to be non-biased, right? And I'm just thinking about it both ways, bro. Even if it was Drake, this is why Drake can't be in the conversation for me either. But yo, a whole reference verse from Jay-Z, yeah, it's no way around that shit, bro. I'm not defending that. I can't defend that. Like this Jay-Z is what you're known for, bro. Like, and you also came from that cloth. You grew up in that cloth. We saw the backstage, videos of you and DMX and then was it John, the Hard Knock Life tour when all y'all was freestyling back there. You come from that cloth, bro. So yes. That would be fucking crazy.
If it happened with Kid Cudi, dog, if it ever surfaces that we had like what was the song? No, not Heart of a Lion. Like just a Man on the Moon song, not from the album, the exact Man on the Moon song itself, or A Pursuit of Happiness, or Maui Wowie is actually charting again, which I'm so happy for Cudi for that. But any of those songs, especially the first couple of albums, and I hear a reference track to that, man, I think I might be holding my chest. I might fall over holding my chest. Like there's just no way. I'd be in absolute disbelief. I'd be heartbroken by it. I wouldn't come to cope about it. I wouldn't say like, nah, you gotta understand. I'd just be in pain and I'd probably disappear and I'd probably ignore it and I probably wouldn't even talk about it. Nah. I would have to talk about it for sure. But AI is the greatest blessing that happened to a lot of these because if Jay-Z tells them like, nah, that's AI, they're going to believe it. And why wouldn't you believe it? Now, the problem is for Drake, all of that stuff leaked before AI was really a thing or AI got as good as it is right now. But I don't believe that. I think Academics is just trying to run cover for Drake. I do think he knows other people that have gotten help. He didn't mention Jay-Z. he's just alluding to Jay-Z, and I think he was specific not to mention him or to accuse him because of the back and forth with Roc Nation. And Jay-Z is also another guy who, yeah, he spent 10 years at the top of the game, but Jay-Z was never really the number one rapper when it came to hit songs. And Jay-Z, like for DMX, there was a year or two where DMX was ahead of him. I don't think there was a year where Jay-Z was the number one guy. Maybe when he with Ye Watch the Throne, but that was the duo. Those were those two guys together. And Jay-Z takes long breaks, and he only comes back when he's got something to say. So he lives a lot of life, and that allows him to create some music. And that's another thing that Drake is able to do, and why I believe somebody like a Drake or anybody that wants to be here year after year after year after year, they need help, because just the cycle of music making. Like let's say you got a hit and you're touring and you're doing all this other stuff. You're not living enough life to be able to come back and create with new ideas and new sounds. People like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, they get a lot more time to themselves and to just explore and live life and get new inspirations. Drake is like, there's a demand of like, yo, when are you coming with something next? And that's hard to keep up with, and he's managed to keep up with it, which is impressive in and of itself, but you need help at that point. You need to switch up the sound. If Drake was still making the same exact music that he was making 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, hell, maybe even 15, some of it is a little bit similar, he wouldn't be running the top of the game right now, but he still is. And I think he's got to get credit for that, but we're not going to try to start knocking down other rappers and accusing them of things that have zero proof behind them. Now, I don't think academics would just throw accusations, but I think he's probably heard rumors here and there. But who could have helped Kendrick Lamar? And this is the thing too. If somebody is, let's say we're in a room together, and this is what is help now, really. If we're in a room together and we're cooking up, right? And then Kendrick's rapping a verse and Jay hit up, or who's the other guy, J-Rock. They're like, nah, yo, you should say this instead of that, or you should hit it like this instead of that. And then he goes in and changes that up. Are we going to put that on the same level as somebody taking an entire track from Lil Yachty? Word for word, bar for bar? We can't do that. Are we going to consider that having a ghostwriter? Nah, there's levels to this. Now, if he gets...
that's why I said the hook kind of thing is not the same, right? As the whole verse.
Full hook, that's when I'm willing to say, okay, like a word, like a line, or switch up this flow. I'm not going to grill somebody for that. I'm even willing to be like, yo, that's a little bit too radical to just have that heavy hand on something as small as that. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Where do you draw?
Yeah, I think hook. I think hooks, man, if you got help with a hook or two here and there, it's not that bad, bro. Anything past that, bro, like, we have to goddamn rewrite his position overall. But, let me know what y'all think, man. Like, comment, subscribe if you caught the vibe. Till next time, we out of here.